This is the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. here on the KA5D repeater system. If you're just joining us, be sure your tone is set to 97.4 if you wish to participate. This is KN4LRA. My name is Matthew, and I am your net control operator for tonight's net. Let's go ahead and move on to check-in. During check-in, please key your mic, say, "This is," unkey your mic, and wait a moment to hear if anyone else started speaking at the same time. If it's clear, key in again, and slowly and clearly state your call sign and your first name. When giving your call sign, please use standard ITU phonetics if you know them. This gives everyone the opportunity to learn the phonetics and makes it easier for me, that's your net control operator, to write down your check-ins. First, we're going to start off asking for short time check-ins. To keep things brief, we won't take general comments for short timers from other stations. Once a station checks in, we'll acknowledge that station and ask for any remaining short time check-ins. If you're out there, I know you just got a few minutes tonight, but still want to say you've checked into the net, call now with your call sign, first name. Short time stations, come now. All right, nothing heard. Well, really quick, let's just do one more call for short time stations before we move on to the regular check-ins. Short time stations, come now. All right, nothing heard. Well, really quick, before we move on, let me check with Kyle, KA5D. Did you also get here 0 short time stations, just to confirm?
This is Kilo Alpha 5 Delta. I did get 0 stations.
All right, well, great to have your confirmation there. I was a little worried that something had gone wonky with the connection here through All-Star, and that was why I wasn't hearing anything, but I hear you just fine. So with that said, I think we'll go ahead and move on to regular check-ins. I guess everyone's just got a lot to say tonight, and no one wanted to be those short timers so they could have a nice chat with all their buddies here on the radio. So before we move on to regular check-ins, I'll do a quick station ID. This is KN4LRA, Net Control for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net. We are now looking for regular check-ins. After we've got the initial list of regular check-ins, we'll give the floor to each of you, and then to any station who wishes to respond. To comment, please call with your call sign. Any and all stations, please call now with your call sign and first name to check into the net with a question, discussion topic, or even just to say hello. Again, no membership is required, and any licensed operators are welcome and encouraged to participate. Regular check-ins, please call now.
This is Whiskey Zulu 5, Bravo Bravo Sierra, Rusty, Northwest Austin.
Net recognizes WZ5, BBS, Rusty, great to hear from you tonight. All right, any other regular check-ins? Call now.
This is Kilo India 5, Papa Zulu November, Ernesto in East Austin.
Hey Ernesto, great to hear from you as well, and glad you made it back from your trip safely. Looking forward to hearing a little bit more about that from you later. Any other regular check-ins, please call now.
This is Alpha India 5 Alpha, AI5A, Rick in South Central Austin. This is Kilo Golf Fife, Kilo Victor Juliet, KG5 KVJ, Garrett and Buda.
All right, I've got AI5A Rick and KG5 KVG Garrett. Any other regular check-ins, please call now. All right, nothing heard. Well, let's go ahead and kick it off here with Rusty, WC5 CBS. How are you doing?
Hey, Matthew, everybody on the net. I'm doing good. I have been pretty busy this week, so I haven't got to do a whole lot of ham radio. But the Wednesday night net's always my favorite net to check in. That means that we're almost to the weekend. So nothing really big to report here. And yeah, I'm glad to hear Ernesto and Rick on the air. Good to have you back in town. So that's about it from South Dallas. We'll send it back to Net Control, WZ5 BBS.
Awesome. Well, great to have you here as well. Now, did I hear you say South Dallas there?
Yeah, I'm 183 in Anderson Mill, but everybody says I live in South Dallas because nobody wants to come see me. So I'm not really in Dallas, which I have a feeling is where you are if I had to guess.
Yes, indeed I am. Hence why I immediately kind of jumped on that one. I guess if you're, a native Dallas dweller, maybe Plano isn't quite Dallas to you, but still up here at least for another day and a half for the internship. Then I'll be back in Austin for the weekend. I was just wondering if you might happen to have been close enough that we would have been able to make contact on radio, on VHF or UHF here in Dallas, but definitely not all the way back to Austin.
You are correct, sir. And I mean, Plano, that's practically Oklahoma. So, no, I haven't been to Dallas in a bit. But while you're up there, go check out the NCTC, the North Central Texas Connection. They've got repeaters all the way from Paris down to all the way out to Abilene and down to Brady. I think he's got 20 or 30 repeaters. So the NCTC, North Central Texas Connection, you can talk all over Dallas, Fort Worth, all the way out west. It's a huge system. So go find a repeater. Last time I was up there in McKinney, there was a C4FM repeater up there that I talked on, and another just regular FM repeater. And then there's a guy that has an FM repeater up on top of the big green. Well, I guess it changes colors now, but the old bank building. And man, you can literally talk into Oklahoma on that thing. It's got great coverage. So some fun repeaters while you're up there.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know I typed it into the Google real quick here and noticed that I've been to that website before when I was looking for repeaters up here. Not sure if that's the one that ended up making it into the spot on my VFO in the truck or not. I think I might have picked one that was a little more Plano specific because they had a Skywarn repeater here, and I based on my past in Florida, I like following the Skywarn repeaters as I travel around. But I'll definitely check that out. I got the list pulled up here, and I don't see one in Austin, so I guess not quite North Texas enough for Austin to make it on the list here.
No, but back when Sammy was president of the club, we used to tie in the 775 machine to him. So we did have an Austin presence, but it was just on Sunday, Sunday afternoon, evening, kind of. And there really wasn't a whole lot of traffic back and forth, so we stopped doing it. And they had some problems with their All-Star. But, maybe we can make that happen again.
Well, we'll see. If I end up here for a full-time job, we'll see. I'll probably end up bringing the All-Star node that I put together for the UT club along with me. I'll have to swap the radio out, but all the brains of it are here, and I'll definitely be bringing that with me wherever I go to be able to still link into Kyle's system back in Austin. It's in Florida right now, but once I, figure out where I'm going to be, it'll come along. I'll pack it up and bring it along with me. And one more thing while I thought about it, you know, you said earlier I was practically in Oklahoma. You got to be careful with me as a UT student saying that on a UT net here. We don't have the best of relationship with our friends up there in Oklahoma, but you know, we'll see what happens at the game here in the October.
Oh, you know, that's funny. I never put that together, but yes, you're correct. My cousin went to OU, and yeah, it's a dirty word around Texas. So speaking of Florida, I'm gonna head to Florida in August. How was your trip?
It was a really great trip. I got to spend about a week there with my family. So we had the 4th of July there. I think I was able to use the All-Star system to connect for the net just after the 4th of July, which was great. But we had some really good weather, and even though I was working during the days, it was nice to have a little bit of a change of pace after work, be able to go out and, you know, walk over to the beach and be in somewhere that's not quite as hot as Austin. So really enjoyed that. Now, where are you headed in Florida?
Indian Rocks Beach, which is between Tampa and Clearwater. It's kind of the old man beach, and I every time I go, I say I'm going to take radio, but I like to just kind of be more anti-sober and just hang out on the beach and hang out with the nephews and whatnot. So the radio never makes it into much play, so I haven't taken one. I guess the last couple times I went down there. But it's a beautiful spot, and it's always nice to go hang out in some warm ocean water and hang out with family.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm familiar with the name of the area, although I've never been there specifically. Only about maybe an hour north of where my family lives in Sarasota. So I hear the name pop up from time to time. They typically use that area as one of those references when they're talking about the weather moving through, X miles north or south of Indian Rocks Beach. I know generally where it is on a map, even though I couldn't really tell you what goes on there. But if you did want to change your ways and decide to bring along an HT, I would recommend that you take a look at the NI4CE repeater system. If you're ever interested in listening in on some of the Skywarn stuff that they do, they've got a gentleman there named Paul. His call sign's NB9X, and he does a really great job of talking through a lot of the weather that comes in. So if anything crazy is going on with the weather, I would highly recommend that you check them out.
Well, thanks for the heads up, man. Yeah, I got my ticket in Fort Worth, and the National Weather Service, they still do Skywarn nets and all that kinds of stuff up there. So when I first got my ticket, that was one of the things that I love listening to was all the randomness that came through the repeater on all the weather and all that stuff. So I'll look it up. Thanks for the info, man.
Right on. Well, let's see. Do we have any comments for Rusty? If anyone's got a comment for Rusty, please call now.
This is Kilo Golf 5 Kilo Victor Juliet, KG5 KVJ.
Hey, Garrett, go ahead.
Well, Rusty, that makes the second time I've heard WZ5 BBS. I think it's going to be one that sticks there, KG5 KVJ.
Oh, you can call me whatever you want, but I won't answer. Yeah, it's Matthew and Ashley are the only two that call me WZ5, but whatever. It'll work. WZ5 BBS. Is that better for you, Garrett?
Yep, that's all I got. KG5 KVJ, back to net.
Thanks for the comment, Garrett. And it's funny, now that I think about it, I've probably flopped back and forth between the Z and the Z in between this net and the last net. And I guess if I do another net control, we'll see which one I pick the next time. Any other comments for Rusty, WZ5BBS? All right, nothing heard. Well, let's go ahead and move right on down the list and check in with Ernesto, KI5PZN. Ernesto, are you still out there?
KI5PZN. Hey, Matthew and Kyle and everybody else on the net, all the troublemakers showed up today, or tonight, I should say. Everything okay, man. Thanks for running the net, and thanks, Kyle, for doing the backup net control. I haven't slept like in 30 hours, so I'm a little bit slower than usual. Usually slower than usual, but all good, man. Just trying to stay indoors because it's very hot. Love to go out and do stuff, but the heat doesn't invite me, so I'll stay in the cold, the AC. But other than that, just trying to recover. I have Enrique here, my son, hanging out at the house as well, and but yeah, just chilling, man. Just got in this afternoon. I wasn't sure. Let me let this reset for a second. Wasn't sure if I'm gonna make it on time. So I was asked you guys if I run it, because you know air traveling now, all the shenanigans. You could make it or you could not. I just didn't want to risk it. But thanks again for running the net. Back to net control.
Right on. Well, I'm impressed that you made it on here with 30 hours awake. I think, I found myself in not quite nearly as bad of a situation last week, but I was pretty pooped after my flight back to Austin. I got in around 7 o'clock on Wednesday of last week, arriving back after my trip that they sent us on for my summer internship. And, I had only been up for something in the neighborhood of, maybe 15, 16 hours, but I was so tired I just went home and got in bed and went to sleep instead of jumping on the net. So really cool that after quite the exhausting experience there that you're on, and great to hear from you as well. How was your trip?
Oh, it was fun, man. I took a little break from the heat. Mireya's sister was doing her 10-year anniversary. I think they call that the vow renewals or something like that, along those lines. I'm not very good with those things, but yeah, she wanted to do that at Maui, out of all those places, so they dragged me out there. Didn't have to twist my arm too badly. And we spent, 4 or 5 days, I think, over there. Beautiful place, remind me of back home. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, another tropical place. The vegetation and beaches were pretty similar, and friendly people. Never been there before. It was a pretty place. I liked it, and taking a break from the heat was very nice. It was mid-80s with a nice breeze. I wish I could bring some of that here, but that's not the case. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice break. Back to net control.
Well, that sounds really nice. Glad that you got to have that little escape there. I know I was reading in the on the news lately that there was some crazy surf going on down in above average waves in the area. Did you get to see any of that while you?
Yes, sir. The king tide is what they call it, and the waves were pretty wild, and they had more surfers than usual, obviously, because they were all taking advantage of it. It was really pretty to see those waves, because it's I grew up in an island, but we don't have those type of waves. There's some cool beaches in Puerto Rico where you can go. There's good surfing, but those were like really perfect waves for surfing. And there were tons of regular surfers and the longboarders and even paddleboarders. It was fun to watch those guys. Some of them were really good, and boogie boarders as well, doing some pretty awesome tricks. It's just entertaining. Got to see also a couple of big, pretty decent turtles going up for air, so that was kind of exciting. And one of them, I thought it was just a guy coming out for air. But like, oh no, it's a turtle. So that was pretty cool. But it's a really pretty place. Far away though. Back to net control.
Yeah, I'm sure it must have been a really long hike to get there. I know the last time I went, I was probably like 12, maybe 13 years old, and we were flying all the way from Atlanta, and it was a long flight. But one thing you made me think of there, my roommate is actually headed down in the next couple of days to Hawaii. Not sure exactly where he's going, but he's there for a windsurf training event. He's training potentially to be a candidate for the 2024 Olympics on a new class of windsurf boards they introduced. So he's headed down there to compete against some of the best windsurfers in the country. And I've kind of been wondering how that surf was going to affect them. Because I don't think they do too well in the up and down waves. I think it's more of a flat water kind of boat. Based on what you saw there, do you think that the surf was rough enough that it would affect him, or is it pretty, even though it was wavy, was it pretty smooth?
Well, it's funny because the ocean per se wasn't too choppy, meaning wasn't too brave or whatever you call it. So the waves where they break, there were big waves and there were beautiful waves, but behind the sets of waves, the ocean seemed pretty calm. It didn't look too crazy. So I think as long as they stay out of the break zone, where the wave form, they should be good. And I think that's probably what they're going to be doing, because if they're going for speed, they're probably going to stay out of the waves, and they just need to wait for a set to finish so they can get in without getting beaten up on their way in back to net control.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I'm looking forward to having a chat with him after they're all finished up about what that was like, because at least from what I've read, it sounds like it might be quite a challenge given how long it takes them to get set up and get going off the beach. But I guess we will have to see. If you ever hear him on here, his call sign is KI5UOG. His name is Ethan. Occasionally he'll check into the net, but if you do hear him, feel free to ask him how his training goes, because I know he loves to talk about it. All right, let's open it up to any questions for Ernesto. Any questions for Ernesto, please call now. All right, nothing heard. Well, before we move on to Rick, AI5A, let's jump back up to the top of the list and notice that I glossed over both myself, the net control, and Kyle, our backup net control. I'll really quick give my update for the last week and a half, since I wasn't with you all last week. I was actually up in Washington, D.C. for an internship event. They sent us up there to visit the company headquarters and hear the CEO of the company speak. We got to explore Washington, D.C., and kind of see what it would be like if we were to get a full-time offer for the headquarters building there. So a really great experience, but unfortunately it kept me off the net last week and kept me pretty busy here as we were, getting things sorted out. Can't believe that I'm already almost halfway through, well, more than halfway through my summer internship, but enjoying it greatly. As I mentioned earlier, I'm up here in Plano again, so joining you all through the AllStar system on Transceive, which I'm really happy with. But that's pretty much it from me. If anyone has any comments for me, please call now. Otherwise, we'll move ahead. All right, nothing's heard. Well, let's go ahead and really quick check in with Kyle, our backup net control operator. Kyle, KA5D. Are you still out there, Kyle?
Hey, this is Kyle, KA5D. Yep, still here. And, so it's been pretty good week so far. And, I'm actually doing backup net control, and I'm doing it also on Discord on video. Now, this is a Discord invite that is not on the internet, so the only way you can know it is if I announce it on the air, which is ka5d.com/Discord. That's the invite to the KA5D channel. Some of you have it already. But yeah, escaping the heat. Let's see, on Thursday of next week, I'm going to be heading off to Cloudcroft, New Mexico, which is almost 9,000 feet and about 70 degrees, and I'm going to be up there for a little while. Yes, I am taking a 6-meter antenna and another ham radio station with me. So that's how I'm getting away from the heat, and that's all I got. Back to net, JA5D.
Well, it sounds like you've got a fun trip ahead of you. I'm not too familiar with New Mexico. I've been there just once for a hiking trip, but relative to the big cities there, about how far away are you going to be?
Pretty far. Cloudcroft is maybe 500 people. It's tucked up in the mountains in Lincoln National Forest. The closest sizable city is Alamogordo and White Sands. So it's southern New Mexico.
Very cool. Well, the only time that I remember there, I couldn't tell you exactly where it was in the state, but I went to the Philmont Scout Ranch when I was in high school and had a great time up there hiking. We hiked about 115 miles in the course of 10 days. Really enjoyed it. There's so much space there, but I do remember it being really hot and really dry out there, so hopefully it's not quite as hot and dry as it was when I was there, because even though we were outside all day and had plenty of water, it was still pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's a little, it's not too far from Philmont, I guess. And there is another scout ranch out there called Wrestler, which is much closer. But it's very cool. It's mid-70s during the day, 50s at night, and it rains almost every day there.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you've got a great trip ahead of you. I'll go ahead and really quick open it up for questions or comments for Kyle. If anyone has any comments or questions for Kyle, please call now. All right, nothing heard. Well, I used that time there while we were waiting to go ahead and type in that link that you mentioned earlier, Kyle, and I'm getting an error here that says invite invalid. I'm not sure quite what's going on there. Is that something you've encountered before?
Oh, maybe. If it's invalid, I'll check it out. And I'll put another one out there.
All right, well, I'll give it another shot here after we're done with the net. And if I get in, that's great, and I'll let you know that everything seems to be working. If not, maybe you want to take another look there and see what's going on. I don't know, it popped up right the first time, but I'm not a Discord expert, and I'm not going to claim to be. So hopefully we're able to get that all fixed up there and get it all working. But let's go ahead and move on to Rick, AI5A. Hey, Rick, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, good evening to the net, and yeah, good to hear everyone in there. I am doing okay this evening, just recovering after some travel, so trying to go through and see where I left off on some projects and get picking up on those again, and also trying to figure out. I have a couple of antennas that they seem to be in okay condition, but they're not tuning up anymore, and so I need to figure out. I think things might have shifted in the wind or something, and a couple things might have got detuned while I was gone. So just going through my station and trying to get everything in good order again after travel. So that's really what I'm up to right now, and not a whole lot else to report. But yeah, good to hear everyone in there, and Yeah, I'll send it back to you. AI5A.
Well, thanks, Rick, for checking in, and great to hear you on the air tonight. And, of course, wish you best of luck in getting all those antennas tuned up. I know it's quite a pain to go one by one through everything and get everything all sorted out, but hopefully that doesn't take too long for you and everything's at least close enough that you're able to quickly get it all back in order. Let's open it up for questions for Rick, AI5A. If you have a question for Rick, please call now. All right, nothing heard. Before we move on to checking in with Garrett, it's about time for another station ID. This is KN4LRA. My name is Matthew, and I am your net control for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on the KA5D and the N5OAK repeater system. We're going to go ahead and move forward with checking in with our regular check-in with Garrett, KG5KVG. Garrett, how are you doing this evening?
It's a correction on that call sign. It's Kilo Golf 5 Kilo Victor. It's Juliet. Juliet. Last time I checked, Juliet does not start with a G. It starts with a J. But anyway, it's been a pretty interesting week so far. Decided to keep troubleshooting the switch mode power supply. Realized after I purchased the capacitors for it that typically fail, that I'd actually purchased bipolar capacitors for some of them, and I put them in anyway. And so it's been some interesting stuff going on with it. I only get about half of the rectification out of it. So tried to do some tests on it and found out that my LCR meter will also do ESR, so I was kind of playing around with that and practicing with that. And then for the heat, what I do is I just keep hydrated and try to stay out of the heat. I remember being on Tinian and, I got there and I was drinking 3 camelbacks of water a day and didn't pee for 3 days, and we went out to one end of the airfield there and tried to set up an antenna, and the corpsman that was with us had to leave because she's getting heat exhaustion, so you just stay hydrated and you're going to be probably okay. KG5, KVJ, back to net.
All right, well, it sounds like you've got a lot of interesting stuff there going on as well. I think you're a little bit went a little bit over my head with all the electronical stuff. Even though I'm a avid ham, I've never gotten too deep into all the, repair and type stuff. I am, I believe, the only member, potentially one of a few members of the UT Amateur Radio Club who is not an electrical engineer. I know at a minimum all of our officers are, and most of the other members that I've interacted with. So I'm a little bit on the outside here, still an engineer in computational engineering, but I'm more of a fan of the computer-based stuff than tinkering with the circuits myself. So pretty cool stuff you've got going on there, and I hope definitely someday to be able to learn more about that, but probably won't be at least until I graduate because I've got all the other coursework to finish up on my own. Well, let's open it up for questions for Garrett. Questions or comments for Garrett? Please call now. All right, nothing heard. Well, now that we're down to the end of my list here, let's go ahead and do one more call for anyone who wants to check in late for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net. Again, if you'd like to check in to the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, please call now.
This is W0TTO, Andrew in Southwest Austin, short time, no traffic.
That recognizes W0TT0. This is Andrew, short time. Great to hear you on the net this evening. Any other late check-ins?
This is
AI5VIB, Sri Vikram, short time check-in, no traffic.
Hey, Shurikam. Let's see. I've got AI5VI, and I lost the last character there. Could you repeat your call sign one more time?
Kilo India 5, Victor India Bravo.
Perfect. I've got Kilo India 5, Victor India Bravo. And are you short time?
Yes, short time check-in, no traffic.
Wonderful. Well, great to have you on the net tonight, and thank you so much for checking in. Any other check-ins for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, please call now.
Kilo Golf 5, Yankee Hotel Mike. Kilo Golf 5, Yankee Hotel Mike. No traffic.
All right, we've got KG5YHM. Also, no traffic. Great to hear you on the net this evening. Any other last-minute check-ins before we close things up for tonight? Call now. All right, nothing heard. Well, really quick before we wrap up, let's check in with Kyle, our backup net control operator. Kyle, do you have 7 regular check-ins plus 2 of us for on your list for tonight?
Yes, I do. I have a total of 9 check-ins, including us, KE5D.
That's great. That's what I've got here as well. Kyle, thank you again for being the backup net control this evening. I really appreciate your help. So thank you, everyone, for joining us for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net. This is a service of the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5XU. My name is Matthew. I was your net control operator this evening. My call sign was KN4LRA. We are here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for the net, and we are the official amateur radio club of the University of Texas at Austin. For more information, please visit n5xu.org, where you can read more about the club and sign up for our email list. My name is Matthew. My call sign is KN4LRA, and for my QTH here in temporarily Plano, Texas, 73, and thanks again. Before we return to regular amateur use, I'm going to really quickly read through a list of some other nets in the Austin area through the next week. This was provided by Ernesto, so thank you again, Ernesto, for handing this list off to me. All right, to start off, on Mondays, we have the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club 6-meter Mondays, hosted by Rick, AI5A. That's on the 50.125 megahertz frequency upper sideband, starting at 8 p.m. On Tuesday nights, we have the Oak Hill Southside Simplex, hosted by Ray, K5BZI. That's on 146.555 megahertz, FM at 8 p.m. Also on Tuesday nights, we have the DMR Soundcheck Net, hosted by George, Whiskey 5, Juliet Delta X-Ray, and Tommy, November 5, Z November Oscar, on the 441.3 megahertz repeater, that's the DMR machine, at 8 p.m. On Wednesday nights, we have this net, the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, Kyle, KA5D, and occasionally me, KN4LRA, here on the University Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system at 8 p.m. On Thursdays, we have the Oak Hill CW Net, hosted by Pat, W5WTH. That's on 3.532 megahertz frequency, at 7:30 p.m. Also on Thursdays, we have the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, hosted by a different operator every week. That's on the N5OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system, starting at 8 p.m. Friday night, we have the Oak Hill Friday Night Trivia Net, hosted by Rusty, WZ5BBS. That's on the N5OAK repeater system and here on the University Link repeater system, starting at 9 p.m. On Saturday nights, we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club Elmer Net, hosted by Jeff, and that's on the 146.940 repeater at 7 p.m., and the 220 megahertz guys net, hosted by Steve, on the 224.1 megahertz repeater, starting at 9 p.m. On Sundays, we've got a lot going on. We've got the Austin Amateur Radio Club 10-meter net, hosted by Rod, on 28.140 at 3 p.m. We have the Travis County Aries Weekly Net on 147.360 repeater at 7 p.m. We've also got the weekly Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto and Morella, here on the University Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system at 7:30 p.m. To round out the week, we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club Swap Net, hosted by Jeff at 9 p.m. on the 146.940 megahertz repeater. And the week after that, it starts all over again from the top of the list. Again, thank you everyone for joining us for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net. Thank you to Kyle for providing the repeater system for us to use here. And also thank you to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club for linking their system in for the net. Again, my call sign is KN4LRA. My name is Matthew. And have a great evening, everyone. And this system is now returned to regular amateur radio use. Thank you, and good night.
Thanks for running the net, Matthew. Did a great job. Have fun hanging out with all those Yanks up there in Oklahoma.
Thank you. I could definitely tell I'm getting a little more of the hang of it here now that I've at least read through the script a couple of times. And it's good fun and appreciate talking to everyone. So definitely I'll be getting my name on the list more and more times here as the schedule frees up and we get closer to starting fall classes in just a few days here. KN4LRA.
Well, you're doing a good job, man, and we can always use net controllers for the Thursday night net over at the Oak Hill. So if you want to come play some Thursday night, man, we'd love to have you.
Well, I'll definitely keep that in mind. I know once school starts, it's going to be a pretty tight schedule for me, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stick around for the full, hour or an hour and a half that that one goes. But I would definitely like to get into it at some point. I know that'll definitely be on, the longer end of the talking that I've done on ham radio, but it would definitely be, a little bit of a challenge for me, which would be a fun thing. And I'd love to get to meet more hams in the Austin area. And what better way to do it than running a net? So I'll definitely let you know at some point.
Roger, man. I understand school keeps you busy. But yeah, the invitation is always open. And, if you want to just do news or exam questions, you can kind of come in and get in at the front of the net and then be done. But, yeah, have a good night, man. We'll holler at you later. WZ5BBS.
Thanks, Rusty. That sounds like a plan, and I'll definitely reach out to you if at any point if I'm feeling the itch to get involved on Thursday nights. We'll see if I manage to make it back into range of the repeater tomorrow night. Usually I catch you all right at the end when I'm driving back from Plano, but I'm going to be headed out a little bit later than usual, so I might be listening in but not quite able to transmit in as y'all finish up tomorrow night. KN4LRA.
Good job on the net tonight. You're a natural. KE5D.
Thanks, Kyle. Great to hear. Enjoying it so far, and I think think having the support really helps as well. So appreciate you and everyone else being here to help me through it and, catch me if anything fails with the transceive or anything. Great to have a community, so thank you for being here as the backup and, of course, always for the repeater system.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure, for sure. I also logged everything in NetLogger as well, so I just failed to mention that during the net, but we got 9 contacts logged in NetLogger.
That's great. Well, I'll have to check out NetLogger at some point. I remember the last time you were running the net, really briefly looking at the online, the website for it, but I don't remember exactly what it was or exactly how it worked. So I'll have to take a deeper dive in there at some point. I did manage to get the Discord link all set up by going through the Chrome browser instead of Safari on my laptop and was able to get joined up there. So I think something must have been just a little bit messed up with the browser. But everything seems to be working okay here now.
Okay, all good. I was checking that while you were running the net, and the link seemed to be okay. So if I see you coming in, there you are. Then I will go ahead and add you to the amateur permission, which gives you permission to do all the ham stuff.
I really quickly was reading through your, opening text here. I'm kind of curious exactly how this works. How is this link in with the repeater system? Like, how'd you set up the software for that?
Oh, you mean Discord?
Yeah, the Discord voice channel link.
Oh yeah. Well, so yes, there was there is a university link. I guess voice integration, and what did I do? It's not currently running right now, but what I did was, if you can imagine, Discord has the ability to do voice channels, and you've got audio in and out. And then AllStar has the ability to do soft IP phones, again with an audio in and out. So I set up a soft IP phone on a machine at the tower, and then to dial into the AllStar node. And then I set up Discord on the same machine, and I just made the input for one, the output of the other, kind of like holding telephones upside down with each other, and that's how I did it.
Interesting. Well, that's pretty nifty there. I never even would have thought about that myself, but definitely a cool thing to have. And I guess this will let you, once you have it running, be able to talk from your phone. I don't think there's a AllStar app for the phone, but I'm pretty sure there is for Discord. Is that right?
Yeah, there is an app for Discord, for sure, and there's apps for the soft phone as well. So yeah, both of those can happen.
Good evening, gentlemen. AI5OS.
Hey, Justin, how are you doing this evening?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm trying to figure out how to make this Dentron tuner work here. I just trying to make that work, and other than that, not doing a whole lot. Didn't mean to interrupt. Just heard y'all in there. Wanted to say hi.
Well, great to hear from you as well. I guess you just kind of missed the end of the UTNet. We wrapped things up pretty early tonight. It was a light night, but great to hear you.
Very good. Very good. Well, carry on, gentlemen. I just heard y'all in here talking about All-Star and such. And there is actually, I think, you have to use a weird version of All-Star, but I think isn't there an app for, I think if you wanted to use the ham VoIP version or something for the iPhone or something like that, I don't know. I saw something about that.
Well, I am definitely not the expert there, so maybe there is, and I've just glossed over it up until this point.
There is, and it's called Transceive, and it's only available on iOS.
Well, I'm on Transceive right now on my laptop, but I didn't know that there was a version for the phone as well.
Yeah, it's there's a mobile version and a desktop version, so yeah, for the Apple OS only right now.
Interesting. Well, I know I had to pay $20 or something for the version on the laptop, which I've been very happy with. I wonder if I'll also get access to the one on the phone with the same $20 purchase if they're going to ask me to break out the wallet again to get it on my phone as well.
I'll take a look. Anyway, hate to run. Boy's about to die.
No worries at all. We'll have a great evening, and we'll talk to you another time, KN4LRA.
Sure, AI5OS.
Hey, Kyle, I don't know if you had anything more to say, but if not, I think I'm going to close up here for the evening and try to get a little bit more work done before I hit the hay for the night. Back to you.
Yep, I'm all done here. So good job, and we'll talk to you later. Have fun up there. And for LRA, it's KE5D 73.
7-3 as well. This is KN4LRA, and I'll be clear for the night. Thanks, Kyle.
Oh, one more question for you. I noticed that there were two people that logged into the server as KN4LRA on Discord. One was just KN4LRA. The other one was Matthew-KN4LRA. I didn't know if you had two different calls or if somebody was spoofing you or not, but I gave the first one access to the ham parts of the server. I was curious which one was yours.
Well, you know, I think the answer is actually they're both me, because I signed up the first time and just put KN4LRA in, and then once I got in and I saw on the sidebar that other people were putting both their name and their call sign in, I went in and tried to change the name on my account under where it shows, you know, just the nickname, tried to change it to Matthew-KN4LRA. So I think the answer is they may both be me, but I'm not sure if they're both still showing up. That's a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I see KN4LRA on there, and then another one with the name Ragin, and it's got an icon of a guy with a cowboy hat and a beard and glasses. I don't know if that's you.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the RAJUN is my like count tag, whatever they call it. I don't know what the official name is for it. I guess they called it a gamer tag when Discord was first put out, even though we're not really using it for gaming. So I do think that is, I think it's all the same account. I'm just kind of surprised to see that it shows up twice, because it only shows up once on mine. Oh, you know what? Never mind. There is the other KN4LRA. That's really interesting. Is the one that is Matthew-KN4LRA, the one that says online on the side right now, that is me. I see the one under offline that says KN4LRA, and that one is definitely not me. But my guess would be it was probably a product of when I was trying to sign up. Maybe I clicked something wrong.
All right, well, I just gave permissions to both of them, so you're in now either way.
All right, great. Well, let me while it's doing the downloading update thing. Looks like I've got the access now. I see a couple more of the voice channels show up on the side. So thank you so much for getting this set up, and hopefully the other guy is just a remnant of mistake that I made during the setup, and not someone who's trying to be me. That would be a little bit of an awkward situation.
Yeah, I think we're all clear now, so no problem. Alrighty. Well, good deal. I'm going to shut her down and go to bed. Have a good one. KE5D, 7-3.
7-3. Have a great evening. KN4LRA.